All right, game number 4, 2-1 in favor of JDG. Every team has picked blue side in this game, so they're prioritizing those first picks. We do get JDG Gragas. Now this, I think 369 was the guy that kicked off the Gragas binge that pro teams have been on. Champion has been overbuffed. It is stalwart in this lane. And again, Billy going with a carry in the top lane. Now, this is one of the more fickle ones, Gragas versus Fiora. Fiora basically has to play from ahead all game. And she'll have the tools once you're at one item, and especially after two, to just bully the Gragas. But Gragas has enough tools to ignore it, right? If you're not reposting a body slam, then you're not getting a win as Fiora. Very, very difficult to find that. But, if you do get somewhat of a lead, Fiora is able to press that advantage, use Divine Sunder, of course, just get enormous. Looks like she's pulling, so she knows that she's stronger, pulling the wave at level 1, daring the Gragas to step up, saying, I'm going to be in control of this wave. It's pushing out to me, and I'm going to hit 2 first. And really nothing a Gragas can do about it. She opts to go for the extra vital proc instead of keeping the freeze going. So we'll definitely hit 2 first, and is looking to potentially create a stack and shove situation. Gragas, notoriously difficult to dive, but you do have a Vi starting on the bot half of the map. So you have a couple options here. Vi can either go with 4 camps, go red here into a dive. You'd have to time that with a Syndra pushing up so she could come support. But with Yagao's flash being down, probably not going to opt for that line of play. I like what Vi's thinking here. Bot side into top side, but skipping the red buff. The problem is that the surprise element is not going to outweigh the fact that you don't have red. Right, Wukong with the red, they're going side to side, now has an HP lead and a half camp tempo lead. Oh my god, isn't going to go gank now. Alright, he's back. Alright, so things looking up already for JDG. They've got the push in bot. Gragas is accepting this freeze, this position right now. Fiora unable to get a full triple stack into Chidi recall. Vi is going to be a half camp slower on the clear here. But we'll see if this translates to one of them skipping level 4 to go for the early scuttle. And we see it looks like Wukong is going to do it. Perhaps not being aware that he had that much of an XP lead on the Vi. Because Vi was, or I should say tempo, Vi was behind on catching up to Scuttle. So Wukong could have finished Gromp and showed up to the river with a level advantage and would be, of course, happy to take that fight, even though Vi had recently got her red. Also, Ari with the rebounding wave. Like, look at this concentration of wards. You can see what they're all thinking right here. All right, first recalls. Bot lane comes in with sword and boot, so really looking to press ahead. Xayah. So here we go. We did have that Doran's Blade start to try to take advantage of the Jinx. Was not able to get a health lead for themselves, nor were they able to get any kind of meaningful money lead going in. I suppose you could say 900 gold in inventory, but after this stage, if you recall one more time and you don't have a lead, the Doran's Blade will just be worse than anything that Longsword will be building into, so you will give that advantage to Ruler on Jinx. Missing, getting caught out, stepping up. I want to see how this built up. It does look like a precarious position, right? You've got 8 minions pushing in. You'd like to get the crash in. You know that you don't want to wait very long, but your Wukong's not in position. So, what gives? Vi was able to turn the missing Scuttle top into some amount of tempo, right? So she got her Krugs first, was able to finish that before Wukong got Gromp done, which meant that she was first on the map bot side. And that is the baby of that player, or that play is the baby of that. Tempo is everything in this game. So check it out. We've got this wave. You're trying to crash it in, but you do have an advantage here. What I don't like from missing, going for the hook as you see them coming in on vision. Now, it would have been, a split second because they had that control, or they had the sweeping lens going. So it was only a split second that they actually had that vision there. Ooh. But getting punished for the play in that 2v1, same thing as before, right? You overstretch, and when you step up closer to that bush to find your hook angle, that's when you're gankable, right? So we've seen that twice now. If I'm a team trying to get a read on JDG and where some weaknesses might be, that 2v1, it looks like they have some bad habits when they're trying to press for that lead. Would like to see a couple more games where they are guilty of the same thing, though, before we definitively make a plan to exploit it. All right, so resets across the board. Still no items coming out. We do have a Fiora with a Sheen. Of course, that's going to be a big change in the tempo. Up in top lane, Gragas going for a fast recall here, just ulting the wave. Get on out. You don't want to get stuck in that situation versus the Sheen Fiora, because she'll just start whittling you down. Now, we do say an inside-out push here at 7 minutes, right? So we like to see this. Normally, we want to see it from the jungler moving from top to mid. But you do this, you use the DMAP mid so that the mid laner can move, and hopefully together the jungler, and you take control of the southern quadrant. Now, it looks like they're not doing that. They're taking it as just a small win. The fact that Thresh and Jinx actually have to back off because red team went into the bot side river. And that's all they're taking it for. They're saying this is enough. Good job by Kanavi getting a little bit of extra chip damage, right? Every little bit helps. If you can get this Fiora below about 60%, then you can start to threaten all-ins as Gragas. But the chip damage really has to come in. You've got to get her preferably to 40% before you go for anything. And it's always going to be dangerous, right? If you ever try to body slam into the riposte, she's just going to carve you up. Like the big piece of ham that you are, Mr. Gragas. All right, so the inside-out play continues, right? The fact that they were able to get that momentum in bot lane, the fact that they were able to push back enemy team's bot wave means that they get priority in this lane. Nautilus gets to move out first. Now, Xayah is 1v1 against the Jinx because Thresh is coming over as well. So Thresh will be late to this, but Gragas is early. So this little combination should work out just fine for JDG, and it does. They're going to be walking into the open arms of Thresh right here to clean this fight up. They're strong. Yeah, they are absolutely strong. Xayah also moving. Good job by the Nautilus. Buffering the Q as you're getting hit by the charm. You throw the Q. The charm hits, and then the anchor hits, and it pulls you to safety, even though you were charmed. I do like the movements by the AD carries here, especially Elk, right? Xayah was coming over in case this turned it into a slobber knocker of a fight. Don't like it as much from Jinx, right? If you know that Xayah's leaving, this would have been a premium time to get pressure in the bot lane, collect a plate for yourself, and then have one of your solo laners teleport back to mid. It would have resulted in you getting plates first, and then the trade-off. But let's see the continuation here. Gragas showing his strength right here. Vi carving, perfectly knocking back the Wukong, but it just does get multiple people killed. And that's the end of it. Now we have Xayah and Jinx going back into the bot lane. We do have Berserker Greaves on Jinx, so a little bit threatening. Having that extra movement speed means that your team can be a little bit more aggressive, right? That's what makes Boots so good. They're modal, offensive and defensive. Look at the vision line. 3 wards. ... Tic-tac-toe across from top left to bottom right. 3 wards there, meant to catch wind of everything that goes on the bottom quadrant with a minute left. Now, they do get Gragas rotating over. Kind of the answer. Be like, you can't see this. Your vision did not see this. But we've got 2 different fights. Knight using Zonias. Oh, my goodness. And they're free. JDG, Gragas showing his strength. Now, Fiora, right, can't really come to these plays. So when Fiora is in the top lane, the way that you punish here is turning this into 2 plates. If you can do 2 plates every time Gragas roams, then you've generated a kill for yourself in the aggregate. But it needs to add up faster than that, right? Because a death also has an assist, also has tempo. You lose that presence on the map. 369 just showing masterclass Gragas here. No delay. Did he try to jump over? Did Yao try to jump over that? Interesting. Also, you see a lot of the players. It's Faker. Well, basically, all of the top mids in Korea, we've seen them all juke that Gragas ult. Now you see 369 getting as close as possible, trying to get Yagao to just be, a half step behind, or even waiting for his E. So you throw your ult and then immediately belly bop, so that if they step back into you to dodge the spell, that you're still able to knock them in. So going for that timer, but I'd like to see Yagao try to see it, right? You see the barrel come out. You got to make a step. At least have it knock you in a direction that they weren't planning on. This time around, Knight on Ari, 3-0. Let's see, Flash engage onto missing. They get the pick onto Thresh. Good job by On there. Using that ward line that they had, right? Remember? They had put those 3 wards down there. They had information about who's been here, who hasn't been here. And they use it to their advantage. Xayah's totally safe alone in the bot wave, and it means Vi is able to take this dragon. They're going to claim plates for themselves, right? Maybe just Xayah going alone. We'll see if Nautilus hangs out. Might try to get a recall timer in so that they can be ready in case there's a follow-up to the dragon. There's not. Nautilus will still path into the river, though, to help with vision. Now look for them to try to get out of this bot lane situation. They want to get Xayah to get the rest of these plates with 1.5 minutes left. Nautilus, of course, being gone and Wukong being nearby means that enemies are going to be pressing into your lane. How much attention are they going to come here? Fiora? I'd like to see Fiora actually rotate down. Best case scenario here is a fight that ends with Fiora killing, wiping the floor, and being left in the bottom lane. And then you can actually rotate people over. Syndra with exceptional wave clear could push out mid and then go catch top. And there's multiple permutations of that. Oh my gosh. And now they just teleport here. See, this is it, right? You could have just been walking that whole way the whole time. Yeah. Gragas, explosive cast, making plays. Yagao feeding his way to a 0-3-2 scoreline. And now, look at the Fiora now. Made it 80% of the way to top lane, teleported bot, and then walked mid. You don't like that. It's got to be better. All right, so now with no mid laner, but coming back up, we'll see if they make a press here. They do go for the engage. They're going to try to make a play while they see anybody missing. You see the teleport coming in to help continue, but 369 is able to shut it down with a teleport of their own. Now here we go. Yagao is in range. They did not see this teleport. It is Syndra, but she is not fully unlocked yet. Kanavi's taking the strength. Feels so good here in this situation. Going to get 2 Qs off in the face of the Syndra and clean up this fight. Look at the positioning. Expect them to retreat. Yeah, there you go. Fiora, non-factor, man. Unfortunate. The Fiora with foresight could have just been in the bottom lane. It can also just be a scripted play. But in that situation, that 12, 30, 13-minute range, you want your teleporter, your top lane down there anyways. So should have been instinctual to come down to the bot lane to get that, to be in position, right? To be in position to unlock the rest of the team. By pathing top, you make it so that the only option that your team has is you to teleport into the fight. And it kind of locks everybody up. It handcuffs your entire team. So they get nothing for it. Well, I shouldn't say nothing. They get 1 kill under turret, but they're forced in this awkward situation. Fiora hasn't seen a wave. She's seen 1 wave in the past 2 minutes. So falling very steadily behind the Jinx. 28 CS down. Fiora versus Jinx. She's down 20 versus the Ahri. Just an extreme CS gap happening now. 20 across multiple positions is a lot. So we've got completed boots and first item from Jinx. will be slightly ahead of the Xayah. Now, Xayahs a lot of times will go for Essence Reaver second. Some of them even go there first, but the extra mobility and speed from the Gale Force is very, very nice. Again, one of those modal things, can be offensive or defensive. Now, RE40 is actually probably looking very good into Fjoraf. You can't just do whatever they want, and in fact starts moving out as they catch wind of this gank. Perfectly done. Knight sussing it out. Even using the Foxfire to steal some of the camp. Knight is on point, ladies and gentlemen. All right, 3 in the bot side. They go for the pick. All right, they're not going to be able to get this. Setting up on the dragon right there. Here, a minute in advance. Gragas and Jinx going to move in tandem to try to gain control of mid. Maybe even get a kill on Xayah. They do have a ward for themselves there. Although Nautilus just placed another ward that cut out that vision. If that were 1 second earlier and they don't see Gragas come in, that could have been doomed for the Xayah. Very, very narrow window. All right, teleport going down here. We see Ahri moving into the bot wave. Gragas is going to, again, push this in and then look to just join the team. Does not need to teleport, but might. And you see these wards right here on the opposite side beach to try to gain angle, right? Of course, any kind of champion like a Xayah would love to be fighting from over this wall. Syndra as well. Happy to be on the protective side, so they will have some vision if that does break out in the fight. You will always see 2 teams with control wards here, so both teams fighting for that spot. Billy had won the dot bush, but they just gave up mid prio and they ceded the dot bush because of it. So now they're going to be down both their control wards. JDG moving in with impunity. And really it's for a Rift Herald. Now this is something every pro team does. They panic with the Rift Herald. They move too many people. In a situation like that, you did not need to move people. You're happy to just have Xayah pick up the Herald on her own. Take the damage. It is what it is. You don't need to stuff it. You've got a turret that's got more than half of its health. It is not going anywhere. Just let it get chunked, and that's fine. Continue to hold your position. All right, 2 dragons to 1, 8 kills to 5, 1.5k gold lead, becoming 2k just now. Knight is going to be cracked in this game. Stepping up even further with the Wukong here as a backup. Does Wukong disguise it? No, they're just going for damage on the turret. They say, you know what? There's nothing. Baron is not up for another minute. We can take this damage. They can let the decoy take the turret aggro, which allows the minion wave to get back in. And they're going to get a significant chunk of damage on this turret. That is permanent damage. 1 slow push stacking up from their turret on bot side will be enough to break that. So giving themselves another position of strength. Those tier 2 turrets are worth so much gold now. So really love the play by them to get the extra pressure, knowing, like, hey, we don't need to contest Western Quadrant yet. They don't know. They're not going to know until it's too late that Wukong's actually here with me. They're going to go too shallow, which is what you saw. Very shallow on these wards. Nautilus actually expiring his own ward again. I mean, this is a mistake. This is the second time On has done it in the past 5 minutes. Expiring his own ward, which was in a good position. Not a big fan. Not a big fan of doing it. Sometimes you can do it, especially with an imminent, control ward. If enemy team is going to be pressing up into that area, you already know where they all are. Sometimes there's a moment where you can get it out, and especially if you're going to deny some amount of gold. But like denying gold at this stage of the game, just inconsequential relative to being in a good place at a good time, or the best place at the best time, I should say. All right, moving the control wards up, using both of them right there. One in front of the turret just to get that ward that's tucked in behind the wall, and another one just immediately over the wall to be able to take control of that bush. So Billy looking to try to get aggressive, holding that side of the map. Now, it's going to be tough. You know, Fiora is going to be winning into Gragas, but the rest of the team is just very, very weak here. And it's not, you know, Fiora is still several steps away from being able to just egregiously push in on the Gragas. Not accept any penalties here. All right, Billy taking it slow. Moving back. I don't like where Vi is at right now. Very little reason to be out here. Wants to camp spawn the scuttle, I'm assuming. We have teleport down from Gragas to save the turret. Say, no, we're not going to give you any reprieve. You're not getting any extra gold in this wave. But it does come at the cost of a teleport. So this seems like a gambit. A gambit saying, yeah, we don't think that you're ever going to send Fiora over here, so I don't actually need to have my teleport. Instead starts moving up into the river as the team goes to push, and they claim the tier 1 for themselves. So tier 1 up in top lane about to die, tier 2 in bot lane about to die, and tier 1 in mid is dead. JDG has a lot more map to play around with, only missing the outer turret themselves. They have moved it up to a 3k gold lead with that turret going down. They're going to expand it as they pick up this wave. And this is sort of what I was afraid of based on what we saw in the past 3 games. If Zun's not carrying, what is he doing? And in this game, it seems like multiple times hasn't been in the best spot. Hasn't shown the patience when it's not just farm. You know, get my next item, just be ahead. All right, they've excused the Baron for now. They're going to move all the vision over to the Dragon, but for what cost? Gragas already has Prio. Would have actually liked to see him leave that last minion there, right? Don't kill the last minion. You don't need to burst the whole wave. By bursting it, you see how it just gets served to the Fiora, nice and safe on her side of the map. She actually would have had to think twice. If you had left the 3 melees up, she would have had to think twice about coming up to get that. If they get the hook on the Xayah using the vision game, but the self-peel is there, are they going to be able to turn this? Now the continuation of the fight flash from the Wukong, they're going to be able to wipe the rest of this fight up. Wukong dashing in, the target's going to be Xayah every single time, and they get the kill there as well, and that's the game. 4k gold lead, they're going to go to Baron. Do not need to get Dragon. Fiora should be able to go get it. And because that's the case and because they won by so much, Gragas is going to come over to make sure that she can't take it as compensation. So very well done. Check this out. 369 dutifully on duty. And this means that they're going to take the Baron and take top wave, not give up the Dragon. Gragas realizes that it's a good enough time to just step out and get their recall in so that they're ready for the next fight. Look at that continuation. Oh, Nautilus bricks the spell into the wall, which gets him to connect to land on the traps, which are already there. That's an execution error, but good job here by Ari and by Jinx to clean up that kill. So now with Baron, they can have inside track here. They can have Prio in mid. They're going to collect the Dragon easily, putting it at 3-1. Now, it's not a very consequential soul. The reason that you're taking this soul is that you have an Elder to take. You don't want the game to get to 45 minutes and have Fiora splitting it in a side wave with 6 items. And another kind of brick there from the Knot. Now, let's see. Is Fiora going to be able to get something in return? No. It's a Gragas. Every time we see Gragas into these carry counter picks, it's just not there. Even the Kennen when Zeus was cracked out of his mind, it still had to work so hard to find an inkling. And by all accounts, they could have lost that game. So I don't know. It's tough. Maybe Gragas is just the S pick. S tier, pick all, pick everything, blind pick, don't care. Because also, just playing through top line, right? We haven't seen this strategy win. The split push, right? The game is too consolidated. It's too easy to get a victory condition by 30 minutes before the split pusher comes online. And these teams, they tend to pick scaling to go with scaling, when in reality, you need to have winning bot lane and mid lane. And if you have the winning early game, then you can get the first 2 dragons, and then you can give it up saying, all right, you have the team fight team. That's fine. We took 1 or 2 dragons. We've made the game that much longer, which allows the Fiora, for example, to get that much bigger and make it so she's actually the problem that she is. But, we haven't seen the Ezreals and Brahms of the world. And even if we did, right, Ezreal Brahms not, trying to crush lane. Could see Lucian and then have them try to ban the Nami and pick Braum. Could you have something like that? But these teams are just very much going long range every chance they get. All right, so check out the technique. Now, this is what you had. You had simultaneous waves, but this time you had it with the Baron. So it's okay. You are going to get some amount of damage, and you do end up forcing the enemy team to come to one of the waves. They find the window that they're looking for, it seems like, but it is too far. And this was the case, right? With Baron, you want the opposite. When you have Baron, you want one wave to hit so you can buff it up. And you don't want any other minions to die. You get one to push, then one to push. And if you spend 15 seconds on each, then by the time you get to the next one, the next wave's already coming in. And you whittle down their base like that. But instead, they extend, try to go for the kill. They get the peel. The peel elements are there. Let's check it out. No one is buffing up this wave in mid. Now you get a hook and trap combination here. Enough to blow him up, but that should have been the end of it. No reason for Kanavi to go. Everybody else on the team is full health. This is not everyone on the team can do what you're doing right now. Did you want Jinx to flash over the wall with you? Maybe. I mean, maybe they had it. Maybe they had all the flashes, and maybe Kanavi was thinking, hey, if we all flash here, then we can win the game. But your mid wave was dying. So if you get flashed in on and then the wave steps out, you can take more damage coming out. It's risky proposition. They definitely had mate in, we'll call it mate in 5, right? Just, or like a table-based checkmate, like you are winning this situation. Maybe he thought he could have checkmate in 5 moves if everyone does the same thing perfectly. Yes, it would have been a faster win. Would like to see all of the elements very precisely to make that call. But the slow approach would have done it as well. Now in MSI, I do want these teams to try. I want them to have the capacity to end the fast way, because sometimes that's what you need to do. Don't mind the attempt. Probably the case that they actually could have ended with using all of their flashes to get over the wall to continue in, but instead they end up giving the kill. But Wukong's just feeling so strong here. Takes out Syndra, and Yagao has not done well on the pick so far. Considered a power pick in China. Ever since the changes to the scaling, right? You get all the extra points, the extra break points. Is considered to be good at basically all stages of the game. Has nice tools, long enough range, and has exceptional end-game scaling now. But just hasn't been there so far. They haven't ever been in position to set up. Now, part of that is the strategy of having a split pusher in the top wave, right? You have Fiora up there. When are you ever feeling comfortable to be a 5-man team against Wukong, Gragas, Thresh, Ahri, right? Like, being 4 men anywhere is just inviting a fight that the enemy team kind of wants. So, interesting hole in the draft, or at least in the way that they're playing it. So now with Soul gone, Jinx Rocket comes in just to make sure that they're not being tested here. They will spend the time, check off the boxes. No, they're going straight at it. They say, we see Fiora right now. Waves are in a good spot right now. There is no minion in mid-wave. So there's zero chance of them getting at us as a penalty, but we are spreading out. Let's see how Syndra approaches this. QE coming up right there. Oh, they all dodge it expertly, moving around the fight And they're going to catch you in here as well. They get the Vi. They juke out on the Nautilus. They get the slow on Zaya, forcing the ultimate to come out. Now, a little bit of staggering right here. The rest of the team doesn't look like they knew. Thresh into peel. Fiora, what did you get done? These teams are getting too good at executing the situation. I don't think split push is particularly... I don't want to say it's not viable. Yeah, you know what? It's just not viable. It's just not. The way these teams have been playing, the fact that you can get so much pressure from the Souls and the Barons, the split push win condition days that, you know, there's too many champions with more mobile threats. Like, it's so hard to get it done. To get both the winning matchup, like the hyper winning matchup in the side lane, and to have a team that can survive this situation. Love the play by Kanavi, getting the ultimate up, then dashing forward. Get that extra peel, zoning, make sure that no one's there to follow up with the Vi. How are we going to do it? How are they going to settle up? Let's see. Again, all right, so this is much better, right? You get a wave crashing in. You spend 15 seconds here. It deals damage. Now the other wave is arriving mid. This is how they want to do it. So it took them a couple tries to get this right. Kanavi dashing in again, but will be able to get out with the minion wave. This is how you want to stagger your waves when you have Baron, right? When you don't have Baron, together. When you have Baron, you want one then the other. Force the teams to deal with trying to break those waves. So they end up getting the inhibitor for themselves. So now the siege begins up here. Gragas holding his own. Oh my gosh, if Kanavi's able to just get a kill for himself here. Check out that Thresh lantern placement, right? Never on the character. You always put it off to the side. Make it as easy to see and click as possible. Oh, limit testing here. Ooh. A little bit disjointed there from Zun and Yagao. Unable to get the synergy. Knight getting some good chunk damage in, right? Would have liked to get the charm, but it's not the end of the world if you don't get the charm, right? You're just dealing some amount of damage early, very safely, saying you're not really presenting a threat, but if you do want to come fight my team after this, you're all going to be at 70% health. So very, very, very nicely done by Knight. Let's see, could we see the end of the game? If Bin gets picked off right there, that'll be the end. But, here we go. 2 supers are down. They're going to bring 5 people in through mid. Ahri, I don't like what she's about to do. She's about to go push this wave. All it's going to do is feed it to the Zaya. Again, you'd like to sit in the darkness, in the fog. You just want to move forward. Make Zaya step up to go get that wave. Be that much further away from her team. That means she probably just won't, which means the time until the next wave shows up is a little bit later. It allows your whole team to get a better position. All of these things, right? They add up. So now you're going to have staggered waves again. The Ahri was not able to singularly clear out the entire mid wave. So it does get gummed up, which means that there's no play here. Anytime that wave is coming in that much later, they're just going to all be able to come and defend. But this next one is the one that matters, right? Second wave is coming up. Check out where those supers are. We talked about them being past the Gromp and Krug pits. Well, they are that, and there's 2 of them. The one thing that they have going for them is that there's still 2 turrets left on the base. Red team is going to cede some amount of damage here to the top turrets. Now they're going to go pick it up, and there's no wave as of yet. Now this is another case. I didn't see the mid-wave interaction. Did someone go and push it? If they did, again, griefing your own team. Ooh, Kanavi's flash is down. You're griefing your team by just pushing that wave in, because now the enemy team just gets to collect it while there's nothing else happening. You want these things to happen at the same time. You want it as it's passing this turret is when you want to start pressing forward. Next super's coming in, trying to get this top turret, base Nexus turret we'll call it, down to an extra 3rd interval. But with Elder coming up, they may decide that, you know what, we don't need to risk anything else here. They've gone back into base. Oh, come. It's going to sit on the Xayah, and they get the pick. They feign like they're stepping back. They get Xayah to overreach. Wukong, despite having no flash, is able to get that pick. And they're able to trade kills after that. 2 for 2 in aggregate, but of course this is always going to favor the team with supers coming into the base. So they're going to get recall into Elder. They might just go straight back to Elder. No, they're going to go for this turret now while they have it. Enemy team is licking their wounds. We're going to get this inhibitor while we're excited. And there should still be an extra minute left on the inhibitors on the other lanes, right? So they may just look to keep on pressing here. Look at the strength of Ruler. We don't need any Elder Dragon. No reason to reset here. Get that turret to at least 1/3 health, please. Good job. That is permanent damage, right? It will heal back up to 2/3 if it's over 1/3. If it's at 900 out of 2700, it'll heal. If it's at 901, it'll heal up to 1800. Ruler, welcome to China. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep it surreal. Peace.